Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense. No, none taken.
That is right, none taken. I am the Movie Moron. This is the Movie Moron podcast. I'm your host, Easton Moore. With us, as always, is our practical co-host himself, Trevor.
What'd it do?
And then our all-time guest, Tristan.
I almost just burped into the mic, but I didn't. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. We're all so very glad.
What? Do you want me to do it? Sounds like you do.
Nope. Okay, so before we actually start today's episode, I forgot to tell Trevor, but I'm sure he'll be down for it. We need to talk about Lunafest real quick.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just go over it, just talk about it for a few minutes. So I'm going to pull up the movies, and so we can talk about the movies specifically and name them and name the director and whatnot. But why don't you tell them? I've been telling them what Lunafest is. Why don't you your experience and what it was and all of that. So when it comes back through, people kind of know what it is, because I don't think any of you guys, I don't know how many of you guys showed up. So
yeah. Well, we were in full gear and no one said anything.
That's
So
true.
well, except for Stephanie did. She said hi.
Yes. Very nice.
Yeah. So Lunafest is a traveling film festival that gets hosted by different organizations. And this year, Girls on the Run Kansas helped it or sponsored it. And they showed 7 short films all back to back. They had a short presentation about each of them, and it was just some commentary and to kind of break up between films, and they had a raffle going on, and so things like that. A couple directors were there. I don't know if the directors that were there had done any of the films that were present. However,
Yeah, I don't think so.
yeah, they had just completed one that Easton saw at Tallgrass, so they were there. And no, overall it was a good time. Had a pretty good crowd. I thought it was at the Orpheum Theater in Wichita, which is a beautiful theater if you ever have gone, and one of the most luxurious bathrooms I've ever been able to use. Anyway, we sat on the left side and had a pretty good time. They had a bar, and they had a specialty drink that was Luna lemon something, but it was like blue curacao and I think vodka, and no, it was really, really good. It was a shame Tristan couldn't go with us. She had something else going on, but yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah, and of course, I'm clicking on 17 different links here, and none of them is pulling up the movie list one. Instead, it's just pulling up trailers. There we go. So yeah, I'll just name the movies that we saw. And like I said, this is women focused. I think not a whole lot of male presence in the audience, but
I think it was maybe 5 total.
Yeah, but a decent turnout of women, which I think is the point. Like, these movies are very, very much tailored for females and their struggles and to empower them in their lives. So it totally makes sense. But still, a lot of these were really good to watch as 2 males by themselves sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
Reclaim Your Water, Natasha Smith. Filmmaker was Faith E. Briggs from Portland, Oregon. That was the first one that we watched. Very interesting documentary. Most of these are documentary films. But yeah, that was the first one we watched. Then Miss Shilov. Is that how?
Sheila or Chalov.
Shalov.
Yeah.
From Java to the Streets of DC. Filmmaker was Sarah T. Gama from Reston, Virginia. Is that VA? Is VA Virginia?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Pete, directed by Brett Parker and Pete Barma from San Francisco, California. This is Beth, filmmaker Jen Randall, and then from the British Columbia.
Nice.
More Than I Want to Remember by Amy Bench, Austin, Texas. Sid Family Xmas Eve Game Night. Filmmaker was
it's an Indian filmmaker.
Yeah. From Glendale, California. Fazia Marza and Khazar Mohammed.
Yeah.
It's as good as I'm going to get. Swimming Through, filmmaker was Samantha Sanders in from Chicago, Illinois. I think Tristan would have liked these probably more than us because it's that perspective. But maybe what was your favorite one or two, and then we'll move on here. But thank you, Lunafest, for inviting us and having us there.
It was a great time.
Yes.
Yeah.
The drink was very solid.
It was solid.
I think I had 3.
Yeah, you did. I saw on the bank account.
I think my personal favorite, well, it may have been Swimming Through, I think is what it was called.
Yeah,
the last one,
Swimming Through.
Yeah, it was, I think, just, we got in the car afterward and I asked Easton, so what do you think? What was your favorite? And his response was, well, they weren't necessarily for us. And so, which is, is correct. But I think that one was probably the most relatable, for me anyway.
That's fair.
But I think Beth's one was the most well-made and probably the most complete. And it was the most interesting, too.
Yes. This is Beth was my favorite because it was extremely interesting. I thought it was very well put together. It didn't, obviously it was more tailored towards a female audience because it was talking about body image and trying to stay thin and what that means in the competitive realm, which is kind of, it's in all aspects, but it's definitely tailored more towards, it's tailored more towards females on the how you look in athletics. That's a very mainly a female thing. But just also her life and how she develops as a person and all of that was really interesting to see, and the hardships that she went through and discovering where she can find happiness was very good. And I like that it had a very good message that going out and trying to achieve all of these things is not what's ultimately going to bring you happiness. You have to find happiness within yourself and within your family and creating a family and doing things for others. And it seemed like that's kind of what it was. And it did have some positive stuff where she continued to be, it's about a woman climber, how she did some climbs that she couldn't do when she was younger as an adult, post-pregnancy, post-body change because of pregnancy, and just allowing her body to be what it is. Because it's she was an extremely talented climber, top of the top. And
her job was doing climbs in a canyon somewhere.
Yeah, she was sponsored to just go climb the hardest climbs in the world. And when she was younger, she did some of the hardest climbs, things that hadn't been done in 20 years. Yeah, she did. And I don't think it's 20 years a female hasn't done it in 20 years. It's nobody has done this climb in 20 years. If I took that away from the movie correctly. Yeah. But that she's obviously healthy.
Yeah.
So allowing yourself to just be who you are and be happy. And I think the good message was she found a husband and had a kid, and she found happiness in that as well as her personal coping's not the right word, but accepting her own where her life is, where her body is, and that it's okay.
Yeah, finding happiness outside of where she thought she would find happiness was able to help her in both aspects of her life.
Yeah. But it could have killed her too.
Yeah,
very seriously could have killed her when she was younger, and thankfully didn't. But yeah, it was by far my favorite. But all of these had very interesting things to say. That was just, I guess, kind of both of ours favorite. Okay, we're going to move on for the movie of the week, which there were technically 2, 65 and Scream. We just watched Scream 6. We love you, Adam Driver, but I think this is the poll of the weekend, and when it comes to the ratings, people are not in love with 65. But
we also did Scream 5, so we should keep on that track.
But we'll probably watch it at some point. Maybe we'll let you know what we thought briefly.
You personally, Adam Driver. We'll let you know.
Oh, he listens. Yeah, he DMs me. He's an avid The Movie Moron listener. Out of our 12 listeners, he is the few, the proud.
That's right.
Number 6.
Okay. Let's talk about Scream 6. General thoughts.
Overall, it's pretty entertaining. It was, probably the most grotesque. I've only seen Scream 1 to 5 and then this one. But
I'm curious, when did you watch those? Recent, or did you grow up watching them?
No, recent. I watched them before we went to
5.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. We're all in that same boat. We didn't grow up watching Scream.
I did get there was a guy as I walked out of the theater who had like a Scream shirt on, and I asked like if he was a pretty avid fan, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen all of these movies since I was a kid." And so I picked his brain a little bit afterwards, so we can maybe talk about that in spoilers. But no, it's pretty entertaining. I found out the reason why I don't particularly care for Jenna Ortega, and it's the same reason I don't particularly care for Tom, what's his name?
Holland.
Hardy.
Yeah, Tom
Hardy.
Holland. No, I love Tom Hardy.
No, I know.
Yeah, Tom Holland. Is that she looks like she's 12.
Yeah, you said that afterwards. I don't think she looks like she's 12. However, she is ungodly short.
Yeah.
I think it's because she looks so small next to her sister in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Her sister looks like she's 6'3".
Yeah.
Compared to Jenna Ortega.
When they're next to each other, it looks like she's a young girl.
Well,
like,
and the thing that rubs me the wrong way about it, all of it, is she has, at least online and with her fans, she seems to have this sex appeal going on. And so in my brain, I'm like, she looks like a child. Why are we like... Anyway, so I think that's kind of there. If you ever heard me talk about how I don't care so much for her, that's why. Not to say that she didn't do well in this. I think she did. I think she did fine.
And also a big chunk of her fan base are also in that same age range.
That's fair.
So it does. So like it makes a little bit more sense to be like, because she's 19 or 20 at this point. I think 20 at this point. So like her probably a big majority of her fans are in college or in high school. So like that's kind of that age range.
yeah.
So it's not as weird
That's
compared to 27 and 29. So like that's a little bit of a difference. So
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, because 19 may look like a child to us.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's almost 10 years removed. So it is 10 years removed from us. So
I will say, for as much fun as this was for me, I mean, I was entertained the whole time. I am, and only after seeing 4 of these, I'm already kind of tired of the Scream tropes or like the meta humor. But some people really seem to dig that. And
I don't think the meta humor was in the original stuff.
I think
it just popped up in the reboot.
No, I'm sure it was in the first. They talk about the rules and stuff in the first one and the second one.
Well,
if they do, it's not as much.
So I think
at all.
the rules and stuff they're talking about is because I don't think it pops up until like 3, and that's because they're on a movie set.
I never saw 3 though.
Oh, maybe it was 4.
I never saw 4 either.
Huh? So you've only seen 1, 2, and then the remake
and then
of the
this
requel.
one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I know at some point, maybe it's just the fact that it's always the killer is like going off of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're investigating it like they are the movie because the person is copying the movie.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because in the first one, there's already a movie called Stab.
Yeah.
And the person tries to recreate Stab.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're saying, oh yeah, we needed like the killer did this in the like this is what they do in movies, so this is what we have to do because there's directly a movie that they're pulling from on their murders.
I just feel like and like I said, whether it happens or not, I feel like at least twice to 4 times we've seen them in a group be like, you're the protagonist and you're the love interest and you're the so-and-so. And it already feels stale to me.
These last 2 movies have gone over the edge with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, and it's a piece of it is also because of the film nerd people.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they're just so like.
That Letterboxd shout out was uncalled for in this.
It's not even a shout out, it's a dig.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost spoiled. Yeah. Annoying.
Yeah.
Because we stay on Letterboxd, but I'm sure they're there for the joke.
Yeah,
they can have some.
They already have Letterboxd already has a list that's like times Letterboxd has been mentioned in a movie. This is number 2.
Oh, only 2?
Yeah.
What was the other one?
I don't remember. I can look it up real quick.
Well, what do you have any other general thoughts, or do you want Tristan to go?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, Tristan.
No, I really liked it a lot. I am a little annoyed with all of that stuff that we were just talking about. It's just so heavy-handed, and it's like, it's just too much, I think. So that it's a little bit annoying, but I really like it. I really like Sam, the main girl. They're fun. I like scary movies. I'm happy that we finally get to do a movie that I kind of care about,
It's been a while.
or like have something to say.
Been a minute.
Yeah, I just feel like lately we've done movies and I'm like,
I don't care. I'm watching this because we
it's
have to.
fine. Yeah.
Well, let's hear all the thoughts then, since they're brewing in the head.
No, there's not. It's not like that.
False
My head
promise?
doesn't work like that. My head's not like,
Okay.
oh, this.
Well, what else?
I'll just feed off of what you guys say.
Oh, okay.
I have to feel the inspiration.
Okay. Well, what else? Do you have any other?
Never.
Okay. Well, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was fun. It did go back to like the over goriness stuff, which I don't want to say over gory, but they definitely had an emphasis on gore in general and brutal deaths.
Which, like, I don't think it was a detriment. I
No.
mean, I closed my eyes for
yeah,
sure, but
I liked it.
Mhm.
Because I think it's going back to like, I don't know, like legit slashers.
which I think that's cool because never mind. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. It's cool because this is a slasher movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool that they just, I don't know. I feel like the kills have been pretty standard. And they definitely put an emphasis on making it extremely bloody and gory.
Yeah.
And showing the whole thing. There's a bunch of unrealistic stuff, but you know what? It's fine.
It's Scream.
Yeah.
It's
I was pretty okay with the opening because it wasn't in a house. That was kind of a nice touch.
Yeah.
That it was not.
Yeah. The opening of this movie is really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like
You'll
it.
hate it and then love it and then
You'll be
Yeah.
like, you dumb idiot. What are you doing?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you do go like I like first saw the like when I first watched it, I was like, I don't like this. This is like completely off from what Scream has been in the past. Now I'm not like an ancient screamer, you know. We're new to the Scream. But like maybe it's because we watched them all so closely together that like it was like, whoa, this is like a weird
Mhm.
Yeah.
opening. But it turns around and is really cool. But yeah, I like our core four and think that they're a good group. And I like the progression. A lot of people have disliked the last act. I still enjoyed it. It's pretty on brand for other Scream movies. A
Yeah.
lot of people are saying it's not, and I don't understand why. But it seems like the people that are disliking the movie have all disliked the third act, and I'll get into a little bit more why. But
Sure.
but yeah, as a whole, I liked it, and they do not hold back on how many people they kill, which I think is cool. You really don't know who is next,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which can sometimes be hard to do. But yeah, it was a fun ride.
Mhm. Yeah.
And maybe it was teetering on the line of being a little too long, but I think it wrapped up.
Really?
Yeah, it was over 2 hours.
I didn't feel like it was long
Yeah.
though.
I just meant like there were times where I'm like, this is a little drag,
Sure.
but like they cut it before it was like,
Yeah.
this
Too
needs to
much.
wrap up.
Right.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Like if this was an hour and a half, it wouldn't have been long enough. So like I get why they wanted to do it more, but
Yeah.
I'm glad they probably cut back on there's probably some deleted scene, like they decided
Right.
to cut it back. So
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. There are a few things in this I think that I'm probably reading too much into, or thinking about too much, maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you guys have to say.
yeah, the change of scenery I thought was also good.
In the city,
Yeah,
I thought it
Mm.
was underutilized.
it was utilized very heavily, like here and there, but overall it was like you don't really get college campus stuff much, and the stuff that you get is kind of like
They're just walking.
yeah, and I feel like they could have leaned into that a little bit more. But I still liked the scene change in general because it did lead to some stuff throughout the film compared to small town killer.
Yeah.
Like they do utilize the population and city, stuff.
Yeah.
Not just having one cop the entire movie or
Mr.
whatever.
Dewey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Courtney Cox is back,
Courtney Cox is back.
and so is Hayden Panettiere.
It was Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah.
For what?
She was the FBI.
Yeah.
That's why I looked at it like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought you knew. Because she's in another one, right?
She's in Scream 4.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I showed her and I was like, Hayden Panettiere, and then I was like, wait a second, is that Hayden Panettiere? I was double.
Gotcha.
She's apparently also in the last one too, in 5.
Is she? Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
I don't remember her in it though.
Is she? How old is she?
Born 1989, so
Yeah, I figured she was like,
35.
34. Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
yeah.
I thought she was a little older because I feel like I've been seeing her like since I was a kid.
She was a
Yeah,
kid-
As an
she was a
adult.
She was
kid
on Disney
actress.
Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought she was an adult then.
She did like a princess movie or something.
Gotcha. I was saying I thought she was an adult then,
Yeah,
and I was watching it when I was like 12.
yeah.
So I thought she was like close to 40, and she's playing a 30-year-old in this, and I was like, wait a second.
Mm.
But,
Well, sorry.
but no, it
Suspicious.
fits.
Yeah.
She looks good. So
Yeah.
Okay, no, I don't have too many other things. I do think Jenna Ortega is the best actor in the movie or actress in the movie.
Oh.
I thought she was extremely good. There is someone that I think is really bad, which is I think a prop, or it was on purpose. One of the two. I don't know, but
Are you not gonna say it yet?
no.
Yeah.
I want to know.
But I mean, there were a few.
The cop guy. What?
Oh.
Who is that?
The cop guy.
Yeah.
I don't know him. I've never
don't
seen
know
him.
I
in
recognize
anything.
him too. Yeah, I don't
he's
remember
in
where he's from
something.
Well, you guys can look that up.
though.
But I really do think Jenna's just getting better on every role, and I thought she really killed this one. There's some also college party stuff that I was not a big fan of.
What do you mean?
There's just stuff about like consent and alcohol and sex, and I think they were trying to be like. It seemed very counter to what I don't know what our current push is to do, so I just wasn't a big fan of it. I mean, I don't have to really beat around the bush; it doesn't matter to the story much.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like that whole house party scene with Jenna Ortega wanting to go have sex with this dude, and then a man comes in and makes her not go have sex with this dude, and then they try to pawn it off on her like being, oh yeah, I was definitely more wasted than I thought, which was not true.
Yeah.
She was just using that as a cop out. And I just don't like that because it's like as a woman, like a woman should be able to choose what she does, and a man came in and stopped her from doing what she wanted to do.
But it wasn't just him. Like,
I know he was a dick and like
the part, like the group was trying to get her to stop.
yeah, but still,
But so
I
like,
still don't.
yeah.
I like. Do people have the right to choose what they want to do or not? And I think yes. Would it have been the wrong decision? Absolutely. But I also don't think. I think it's a bad message just saying, "Oh yeah, it's good in this instance, but not others." I just didn't like it at all. But it is what it is. I can't.
Well, if we're gonna talk about that scene now.
No, it's fine.
The only part I thought of that felt wrong was the guy getting tased. Well, and yeah, it's funny, but like in that situation, just and maybe I'm speaking from like experience or personal whatever. I think her group of friends has the right to be like you don't like we're protecting you because this is a new city and like you don't know this guy and yeah, she does have the right to do that. I don't think that means her friends were in the wrong, girl or guy.
I don't think they're in the wrong to like tell her like, hey, this is a bad idea, you shouldn't do it. But the guy physically stops him from doing it.
Yeah.
And I like that's where I'm like, you guys, you can say like, hey, don't do this.
Yeah.
But then,
Well, regardless, the tasing.
yeah,
Like, anyway.
But the only thing I would slightly agree with the tasing thing is once it got physical, he started getting physical with her to like, oh no, you're coming with me.
Yeah.
So like, that's when it's like, okay, now these actions are permissible, but they're like that only happened because you were physically going to stop him in the first place. So it's like, yes, obviously he's a bad guy. Obviously, I wish he not would die, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like how that whole scene happened and how that's kind of with like what our social progressiveness is. That seemed very anti that.
Gotcha.
And
Well,
I'm surprised more people haven't said it. What?
So all that to say, trigger warning, there's a potential date rape scenario
Yes.
in this movie.
Yes.
I know what the guy's from. He is one of Jess's love interests in New Girl.
Oh my goodness.
He's like 90.
Yeah, he's the rich older man.
Sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's not a whole lot of... I just thought of that because I was talking about Jenna Ortega. That's definitely not the highlight of her acting part, but it was definitely later on. I thought in the third act she did really well.
My problem with Jenna Ortega is that I think that she thinks that she's really the best and like super great and that she can do anything and whatever she wants.
I get that vibe a little too.
It's really annoying.
Especially
No,
talking
she'd
about
chill.
being on Wednesday. The way she talks about her coworkers and talks about Tim Burton is like a little too cavalier.
Yeah, she's like, and I watched an interview with her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I made up that dance, but like on my own. Like I'm gonna do it. I did it, and I had to like throw it together, and it like became really like big,
listen,
and everybody loved it."
If people are gonna hate me for this, I don't care. I'm gonna die on this hill. That's a bad dance, and they if it's supposed to be an homage to like the original Wednesday with the Wednesday shuffle and stuff, that part's only in there for less than a second, and then it moves on. So I 100% believe the reason that dance is so popular is because all of Jenna Ortega's fans were like, she's dancing, and then she said that, and they're like, she made it herself, and then because the song on TikTok when it was going viral, the song isn't even the song that was used it's Lady Gaga's Bloody Mary or whatever it is.
Are you new to TikTok, my man?
Well, I mean, like,
I didn't know that either.
Oh no, yeah, they just always throw new music on stuff to make it.
Well, and what I'm saying is,
popular.
like, if it's really that good of a dance, you need to do it with the original music, but you can't even do that. You're doing it with other music you found. But I'm getting on a soapbox.
That's just TikTok.
Stupid, regardless.
I don't know. I watched a few interviews and I thought she was just fine.
Like a very narcissistic person. That's fine.
I didn't think she was.
I was making a joke. I just don't really care for her. That's all.
Well, if we're ready to move to recommendations,
Sure.
Before we get to it or after, I have winners of the Oscars, which are happening tonight. If you'd like to hear them,
Well, it's not over yet.
but it's happening.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about all of them later on a bonus episode.
Oh, okay.
That's what we did last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about all of them. Last year we did just an Oscar episode. So, because we'll be done with this before Oscars is done with.
Right.
So, yeah, stay tuned later this week for Oscar winners and our discussion of how much we dislike them or like them, but probably dislike them because we hate everything here. So I'm just going off your guys' vibe, and you guys are just really hating everybody right now.
Yeah.
Just Jenna.
I'll own it.
Okay, so recommendations.
Listen, she's got all the money in the world and all the success in the world, so who cares what me, a little peon, has to say about this beautiful megastar actress, okay? Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Recommendations.
Yeah, fine. Go see it. If you haven't seen, you don't have to even watch the Requel to watch this. You can go see it and you'd have a good time. If you like the Scream formula and you like the meta humor, you'll enjoy this. So yes,
Tristan.
Yes, I do.
I recommend it too, and I don't like. You really don't have to watch the older stuff. I think there's some history stuff that's planted in there, but they cover it. It's not like you have to know that, like, it's not like Easter egg stuff that, like, if you didn't know that this was done in this movie, then you don't understand what this is doing. Like, it tells you. It's like, here's the thing. This is where it came up. This is what it did. Boom.
I
Right.
actually think that it would be beneficial to watch all of the movies.
I think, yeah. Okay. I recommend watching them all in general because I think they're fun slasher movies. I do think you might get a little tired of the formula because it is a formula in each movie, but that's kind of the point. But
Yeah.
yeah. What's your guys' favorite Scream movie so far?
I have
One.
literally no stinking idea.
Oh, okay. I think also one.
Yeah.
We stand Shaggy.
I have thoughts on him, on his character, which we'll talk about in the spoilers.
Okay. All right. So that's it for the spoiler-free part of the review. We will cut it to our short little ad, and we'll be right back for the spoiler part of the review. All right, we're back.
We're back.
After that short little break, now we'll talk about spoilers. So if you don't want to know who the killers are, stop now or forever hold your peace.
Or yeah, the killers definitely. Tristan, was there something you said earlier that we had to wait till spoilers for?
I don't remember.
Well, since we just talked about it, for as much as this movie talks about with the meta stuff about how this is a franchise and how there's legacy characters and how no one's safe now, they sure do a really bad job of subverting your expectations and who they're going to kill. Along with that, so that's my objective take on that. My subjective take is James Williamson, the writer for the Scream stuff, has 100% declared Stu Macher is dead and will not be returning in the Scream franchise. I don't know if that's a misdirect, but I think it's a real solid missed opportunity, especially if you're going to have Sam go down this, like, maybe she is a killer thing. Maybe she will become like her father. That seems like such low-hanging fruit to be like, oh, guess what? Stu didn't die, and he is a grandson, and now they're going to have a showdown. That would be, I think that'd be incredible. That would be such a good way to bring it all together and kind of bring it home, but they're not going to do it.
As far as we know.
Yeah, and like I said, and speaking of people lying or maybe not, misdirecting and maybe just giving false information to the public, I hate unreliable narration in movies. I hate that guess what? We didn't really kill her. We just really made it look like she was dead. And there's no semblance to
So I assume you didn't guess the killers.
No, I didn't. I thought because I was riding that Stu train.
You got to be careful of those off-screen deaths, man.
But it wasn't off screen. She got thrown into the room.
She just got stabbed in the stomach.
No, not her. No, she was in the room when she got killed. I guess that is technically off screen, but then she gets thrown into the room and they catch her. The girl that got stabbed in the stomach was the love interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess she was just like on the floor. Like we don't see her like legitimately like, oh, she's dead.
Yeah.
Which like everybody else, if you didn't see them die, they didn't die.
Right.
Like even, not Chad. Chad? No, not
Chad.
Is it Chad?
Chad's the one that got stabbed a bunch.
Okay, and survived at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so even Chad got stabbed a bunch of times. His sister got stabbed in the stomach.
Yeah.
3 times.
And if you want to talk until the cows come home about franchisization and legacy and all of that crap, guess what? The danger with franchisation is you don't want to kill your main characters. And what do they not do in this? They don't kill the core 4. They don't kill any of them.
Yeah. I do think, however, like it's okay for this one, but you're starting to tread on thin ice because you can't go with another movie and not have, because then you are just yeah. But this is supposed to be like a requel, so like
right.
So like they've only survived one. Like before this, they'd only survived one movie.
Yeah,
it's not like
fair.
they had survived 4. Now, yeah.
Sorry, my mic's being.
It is being a little weird on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the acting I was talking about was the police officer.
You thought he was bad?
But I don't know if it was purposely bad because
right.
He was like, I was genuinely thinking, like, my guess on who the killer was the police officer and the daughter. I didn't know the third guy.
Who was apparently a family member.
Yeah. But I mean, of course, throughout the movie, you're like, maybe it's this guy, maybe
Yeah.
it's this guy. But like, my like hunch the entire time was that like it's because his acting felt really bad, and I'm like, I don't know if like he's acting bad or if like it's supposed to be like he as a character is trying to act, and he is a police officer. He doesn't know how to act.
Yeah.
So he's like lying to people, and it just doesn't feel genuine.
Right.
Just like the way that he was crying about his thing's death and blah blah blah. I was like, I don't know if they were trying to nod to it or if he was just not as good.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would be a weird thing to try to hint at, that like usually they don't hint at who the killer is.
Well, and then
I don't think.
even with that, later he says, it's not that hard if you just swap out the bodies and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, unless it's a crime scene.
Yeah.
And then, but anyway.
No, that to me did not make any sense.
Yeah.
The swapping out the bodies is not what that didn't make sense. But my thought the whole time was like, I feel like she's not actually like I feel like she, but I was like, but I'm probably wrong. And then when they said it was the blonde police, the FBI agent, I was like, damn, I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought it was her.
I thought it was a good misdirect though.
Yeah.
Because I believed it once it happened, because it made sense to like, she's the one, she was gone during almost all of these things. She had the idea to get them there and got it locked and everything. So I'm like, it does make sense.
Yeah.
But then my original thing was correct.
Right.
Other than the film student roommate, Chad's roommate.
That
was the out of left field thing. And I wonder if that's what people are mad about. I don't know. People just said that they were mad about the reveal in general.
Well, here's what I don't care for about the reveal. When I think of the Scream movies, and maybe it's just because of when I watched them, because I remember that weekend I watched the first one and watched it like very late at night or something, and then the next day I had to get up and go to work, and then I came back and I crammed in Scream 2, and then I had no time and I had to go see Scream 5. And so, but even still, when I think of these about the killers and stuff, I think of Billy and Stu.
Yeah.
I don't even think of I think it was Billy's mom in 2 or something, but I don't think about the Requel people at all. And they keep talking about Richie, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that kind of rings a bell from the last movie, whatever. But then they're like, we're Richie's family and we're back for revenge. I was like, this is the lamest thing you could have done.
Yeah.
At least I thought it was mega lame. I was like what I thought was going to happen, and like I said, this is just the subjectivity of me that's like, oh, I wanted this to happen, but this happened instead. I still think it's lame. But I thought, because the love interest, pretty cute boy across the thing, looks like Stu. He looks like good old
I
Shaggy.
thought he looked like Billy.
Oh.
So the only thing I don't like about the fact that it was Richie's parents is the fact that like there's no way they would have allowed the FBI agent that was the father of the murderer of the last Ghostface incident, and who's the person who killed his son was the prime suspect. That's I actually didn't even really think about
Conflict of interest.
Yeah, because it's not revealed until the very end that they're. But the office, I mean,
they would have to know.
The police officers would. I mean, the district would know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that doesn't. That coherently doesn't make sense. But there's a lot of things that are rough. Just with like the fact that so many people got stabbed. So many times and survived. Like, it is possible. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think there are people.
I know someone.
Yeah. Who? Oh.
Got stabbed in the stomach and lived.
Well, there are stories of people getting stabbed like 22 times and surviving it.
Yeah.
So like, yes, it's possible, but knife wounds are also like, they need to get treated fast, or like you are like they're almost worse than gun wounds at times.
Yeah. Especially if like an artery gets cut, like
yes.
you have minutes.
Yes. Or your colon and you just have feces just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Septic.
Lungs, you get blood flushing in your lung. I mean, it's just so easy. Like, and people get stabbed a lot. Now, of course, you get the shoulder slashes and stuff. That makes sense. But like, our reporter lady, I can't think of her name. She gets stabbed
Gail.
deep in the shoulder and deep in the stomach and deep in the side.
Yeah.
But I liked her scene.
The action.
She
with
finally
her?
got a damn gun.
Yeah. Right.
Also,
Except she had to open
I was gonna.
it.
You were gonna bring it up.
proves to why lock boxes like that are usually not. I understand if you have kids, I get it, but that scenario right there. Now, of course, that scenario is one in a bazillion, but is why having it behind a lockbox, especially a code one, is very bad. And I thought she was gonna have to load the gun too and everything.
I did too.
And I'm like, this is
she
just
did that.
yeah. She had it loaded in the. I was like, thank you. That's at least the proper thing. 'Cause it's
And
like,
she bought herself some time
yeah.
to get it open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because so many people think, oh, I need to be as safe as possible. I got to have it locked up in here. Then I have to have my ammo locked up somewhere else. And then I'll have to load the thing. And it's like, you got to do all that. You're dead before you even get one of those things open.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole reason why you had the gun didn't matter because you were too careful and that's your demise. But I do get it. If you have kids and stuff, you've got to do something. That's why you do the fingerprint ones. It's technology is good enough where it'll get your fingerprint in instantly. You don't have to remember a code. You don't have to accidentally push one.
Yeah.
It's just fingerprint go. And yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I recommend. It's worth the extra $50. Your life is worth the extra $50.
Right. Yeah, the stab wounds seem very hit or miss. Not no pun intended, but hit or miss. Well, especially with the apartment stuff, because love interest gets stabbed in the gut, and then like I don't remember if that's the one where it like it's
raises
pulled up,
and then twists.
Yeah, which is like that's just you're dead. Sorry.
And she died, and she would have died even if she made it
Yes.
across.
Oof.
I mean,
But then, oh, sorry.
I mean, unless like the hospital was like there was an ambulance within
Like
10
right there.
seconds. Yeah.
But then, homegirl that got the
sister,
the one that would
The
not
meta
shut
girl?
up about
Yeah.
how everything was a movie, which bugs the crap out of me
I
when they
wasn't
do.
there for the reveal again.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, her character is just she's just kind of annoying.
Probably she's like us, which is why she. No, I'm kidding. But she gets sliced on the shoulder, like the meaty part of your shoulder.
Yeah.
It seemed like, and she was like, in as much distress and like I'm going to die.
Yeah.
As the girl that has her guts, she's holding her
Kind of,
intestines in
yeah.
her hand.
I think,
you know?
although they do have, she does fight back a little bit, obviously more than the other one. But I
Right.
do agree, she was acting like she was.
Like that was it.
Yeah.
Which I mean, people interpret pain differently, whatever. But I was kind of like, you need to have like, you need to be aware of the situation. But
Yeah.
And then, what did you guys think of the ladder stuff?
I just don't understand why. What's the guy's name?
Cute boy.
Sean. Well, I can't remember his name, but yes, cute boy. I don't understand why he didn't run over to the apartment.
Oh yeah, right. He
was
has to get
expecting
buzzed
him
in
to
probably.
call 911.
I don't think so. No, about what you said.
Oh,
I don't think he has to get buzzed
in
in because he's in the same apartment complex.
Oh, okay. I thought they were in different ones.
Yeah.
I think they're like across
Yeah.
across ways though. They're not.
I
They might
think
be in the same complex.
It's one of those weird
but-
ones where
I feel like it's an angled one, like so it's still
Okay,
connected.
okay.
Yeah. But anyways, that's what I was expecting, and like that's how you get their attention. You're banging on the door, let me in, like blah blah blah.
Oh, yeah, well, I thought he was gonna come over there and bang on the door, but that would probably just freak him out. And they wouldn't let him in.
Maybe.
I wouldn't
And
have let him in.
The door was locked after a minute. Danny is his name.
Hmm.
That scene, it was fine, but like we've already seen that in Nerve, and I feel like it was more exciting in Nerve.
I don't even know what that is.
You haven't seen Nerve?
No.
I feel like we've watched it, but well, it's time for a rewatch if you haven't seen it yet because it's a really good movie. I don't remember that
Great.
scene specifically because I think you'll like it. Like
Okay.
I think you'll generally like it.
Yeah.
It's a really fun movie. It's
But-
just fun.
Yeah, and I maybe I'm just getting old and and just turning into an angry old man, not because I'm turning 30 this year, but whatever. Yeah, but when I see things like that have already happened in previous movies, and there's no new twist on it, or there's no like the sense of urgency isn't as strong.
Yeah.
I'm
That's-
usually like, I've seen this before.
That's what I didn't like is that I didn't feel like the sense of urgency. I would be picking up things to throw at the window. Like,
Yeah.
know, They're about to get murdered in that room.
And as soon
they
as
got-
she got on there and we saw him walk into the room, I was like, he's going to start messing with the ladder.
Yeah.
Get her across.
Yeah.
And
No, he's just going to let her go.
yeah, right? Anyway.
I'm surprised they didn't just like. I mean, I knew she was gonna. They were gonna mess up the ladder and she was gonna fall off. But
Right.
they had a chance there to just have her guts just fall off. The,
Ew, Ethan.
But I mean, the way she hits that dumpster, and then seeing the blood,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
oh,
that
and
was-
you see the face.
yeah, it was pretty
All
intense.
busted up.
Okay, I closed my eyes for a reason.
She did.
Yeah.
I was gonna say earlier, that we were talking about slasher. That this is a slasher, or whatever.
Yeah.
I was just going to reference the beginning because the person that dies is the slasher professor or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's a. Film-
20th century slasher professor or something.
I think she was just a film professor. And
Assistant professor.
yeah, and she was like, that's what she like loves.
Yeah.
And so she like dissects those more than other films because that's
Gotcha.
what she's into.
Yeah.
Because I think she just said assistant film like professor. But about that opening, I was really upset that we saw who the killer was right off the bat.
I was confused
I
for
was
sure.
kind of excited because
Oh.
we haven't seen. I don't think. Like I said, I haven't seen 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've seen a Scream movie where we know who the killer is right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is going to make for some interesting
Yeah.
stuff to see happen. But
Sure.
then,
Yeah.
I watched
So-
the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I was not excited because I was like, that feels very counter to what this franchise does. Like, I like the fact that you're spinning the film like they are trying to figure out who, like, we think it's one of us. Who is it? I think that's an interesting piece of it, of you trying to figure it out with the people
Who
in the
done
movie.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then I thought it was really clever how that conspired of they killed him because they needed to be the true Ghostface to have their plot, done. They
Yeah.
didn't want them to kill their prize.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about Sam digging deeper into her love for killing and such.
I think if they do it correctly, I think Scream 7 is going to be a really interesting movie.
Yeah. I just don't because they just play so much into like everyone else having this conspiracy theory and everybody else like saying she's a killer and blah 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 blah. Like, I think it's better if it's on the outside rather than the audience.
Why did the? Oh, I was gonna ask why the therapist died or was killed,
Oh.
but I guess
He
he had turned her in.
he was the alibi for the first
right,
murder.
right.
Mhm. Which, I don't know that that's how that whole therapy seems strange to me.
The whole it's not, you don't turn somebody in for that.
Yeah.
The only time you quote unquote turn somebody in is if you feel like they are going to harm themselves.
Or others.
Yeah, and you wouldn't get that off of the one thing she said.
Yeah, she just, and maybe you could because doesn't she say she liked it?
Yeah,
She said it felt
good.
right.
It felt right.
Yeah.
She didn't even say that like.
She
I
was
wanted
planning on doing
more.
it again,
She
yeah.
didn't say anything like that.
Well, and typically for
And she-
anybody
And
that
she was in the right to do it.
Yeah,
for anybody that may be listening, and it's typically like therapists, if you do say something like that and your therapist is like, I'm not qualified for this, they will help you get set up with a therapist that is qualified to handle that. They don't just leave you, or at least good therapists, I don't believe, leave you high and dry.
yeah. No, it did not make any sense.
Yeah, we just needed.
They also wouldn't freak out like that in the middle
Yeah.
of a session.
Yeah. We
Especially after saying you can trust me, I need
Yeah.
your trust, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. We just need to know that she liked killing still.
And she, like, the person should have known her background.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. What do we think of the stab museum thing?
that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
I was confused at why it
Was there?
was there.
Well,
yeah.
and that's kind
Then
of
they
why
explained it well.
I kept
Yeah, I
thinking
know, they
that
did
Stu
explain it
was
well.
going to come back, was because, like, oh, he went into hiding and he's built this museum. But no, it's
Ew.
just Richie's family.
Which I didn't mind.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine.
I felt like it was a stretch. But like I said, this whole movie, I'm just battling my preconceived notion of what I think was going to happen and then what
Yeah.
actually happened. But
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I like Jenna Ortega taking it out and killing the creepy dude and,
yeah.
and
Who
Sam killing the
apparently
rest. Didn't die. Oh
didn't
yeah.
die.
That was the dumbest thing that happened all movie.
Yeah.
He got
Well,
stabbed,
and-
I think 7, 8, maybe 10 times in the chest, and then stabbed through the back of the mouth.
Yeah. Like
Ew.
because like you don't die necessarily maybe from the wound, but you die from the blood, like filling up your throat.
Yeah.
But
You would definitely suffocate on your own blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, to be fair, they did say that a lot.
well, and then there was another pretty dumb thing where Mr. Fake Sheriff guy, so Sam has the gun and she goes to shoot it, and then it
Runs
click,
out.
runs out. He has a loaded gun.
And,
yeah.
and,
And he walks toward her with the loaded gun.
And then she
Yeah.
charges, and he doesn't shoot until he's getting tackled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was dumb too.
Yeah. The
And-
third.
The cop in general was just stupid because later on, when when he's being hunted, he pulls out a revolver, so that's 6 shots.
Yeah.
He's just shooting
yeah.
Oh, the
empty,
mannequins.
yeah,
Yeah.
mannequins that aren't people,
Yeah.
and you
like,
have
why are you wasting
you have
that?
6 shots.
Yeah.
That's it, and then you're done.
Yeah.
There's 9 of those things. Are you gonna shoot all 9? Well, you can't even do that. You're gonna have no left over to kill Sam.
Right.
It didn't even matter though because he didn't even try to shoot Sam. So
It's true. Yeah. I think the third act is the weakest of it all.
maybe
I think
I like the last fight.
she embraces it appears she embraces the Ghostface persona
Yeah.
because she does put the whole get up on,
Which that's what I didn't like
Mhm.
is her putting on the
Yeah,
mask and doing
I
all that.
I didn't like it either. I thought maybe Tara was going to be like, "What are you like?" Get
I thought
freaked
so,
out.
too,
I thought
yeah.
she was gonna get freaked out by her, but she didn't bat an eye.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think is maybe they're gonna find a way to like the public sees that she wore the face and killed the cop in a later movie.
But then she ditches the mask.
Yeah.
Well, then they'll find her DNA on.
But
it.
I'm saying that like somehow there'll be a picture that or a video that shows that she killed the cop with the ghost face and then took it off and
Yeah.
like, oh, she is a ghost face.
It makes me really upset that I believe that they would pick that route instead of, like I said, doing something more. Because I think that's what this franchise needs right now. I mean, and I say that, but like everyone loves this movie, man.
Yeah.
People are putting this as number 2 on their Scream rankings, and that's wild to me. But I mean, if you like it, you like it, I guess. And maybe I just am not in that.
I don't
crowd.
think 2 is an awful spot
Yeah,
because I think 1 will always be king.
yeah,
And I think 2 is solid,
yeah.
and I think the remake is solid, and I forget a lot about 3 and 4,
Yeah.
but I know one of them was solid, but I really enjoyed this one. So
I wish so all that stuff about that last fight and her suiting up, to say, I wish there was more of a moral dilemma that she faced rather than just like looking at the mask and then leaving in the street. I kind of wish she had kept it, or maybe we just end it on it as she's looking at it and then the camera like zooms on the mask and then we go to black. But yeah, it was just I don't know how to feel about her character after the end of the movie.
sure, yeah,
I like that she has a love interest she can trust.
maybe
No, she can.
can't trust anybody in Scream.
No, you can trust him.
And you know that because he says, "Don't trust me."
Mm-hmm.
But-
Yeah, it did cross my mind that maybe he was a killer, but I was like, that's just I feel like that was too obvious.
Like I said, I thought he was going to be some kind of Stu descendant, and that was going to be the last fight was
Yeah.
them fighting it out. Which may have also, I say that thinking that I would have enjoyed that, but it might have been just as cheesy. I don't know.
Yeah. because that would have been her boyfriend 2 times in a row.
Right.
Which,
Yeah, that was my. Sorry.
well, I guess that's our cue to maybe wrap it up. You guys got anything else you guys want to add here? Talk about Scream?
I love the mask, but I hate the bodysuit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I did like the new mask in this one.
Yeah.
The creepy thing. The gas station scene I thought lived up to its hype.
I want to see
yeah.
Ghostface with a shotgun all the time.
Yeah.
I dug that way more than I thought I would.
Yeah, and I thought it was really dope seeing the clerk.
I was about to say that. I liked the clerk.
He obviously was a dimwit a little bit, but
At least he was like semi-prepared.
and
Yeah.
prepared, brave.
Bodega New York clerk
Yeah.
keeping a
here's
shoddy
another
under the
thing.
desk.
Yeah.
Under the desk.
There's another thing though. Can people stop yelling at the villain before you shoot?
Oh.
It pisses me off.
Hey! Yeah, I noticed that too.
It happened 3 times.
Hmm.
was
The
a
clerk,
merit-
clerk did it with the shotgun.
Mhm.
Would have blew him to bits,
Yeah,
but said, "Hey" or something, and then he jumps out of the way at the last second.
yeah.
And then Sam does it to Ghostface when she's about to kill the reporter.
Uh-huh.
And then it happens one more time, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe in the final scene. But I'm like, those are the dumb, like horror tropes that you can write around.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. You can just spend 20 minutes trying to write a better scene, but instead you lazily just
All you have to do is just like have the person glance to the right a little bit and then duck before the shot goes off. That's all. Like, it's not better, but it's better than seeing
or having the person that like he's honed in on look that direction.
yeah.
So it makes that person look. Now also like don't already have the person aiming the gun at them when they look.
Yeah.
Because don't try this at home. If somebody's aiming a gun at you and you try to move out of the way before the bullet can hit you, you will not get out in time.
No.
So that also just doesn't make sense. So it should be like them pulling out the gun. If it's pulling out the gun, you can get behind cover in time. But if somebody's aiming a gun at you within 15 feet, they can pull the trigger and the bullet hit you before you will move a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
yeah, gun jamming things are a better story arc thing than that.
Hey.
Because gun jamming is that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it happens often, especially if you don't clean your gun. So like, or if you have like a really cheap, unreliable one. That's why
Mhm.
people spend thousands of
Buku
dollars on well-made guns because they don't want it to jam. So like, have that be your trope, not hey.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know why we can't have a Scream movie where like maybe one of the Ghostface do die
Yeah.
in
Right.
the middle of it, and
There's
you just don't know who the second one is.
Pretty classically been 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
man,
it's pretty much everyone except for one movie has had 2, and then this one had 3. And I don't think 3 was a bad pick either. I don't think
Yeah.
it was too much of a stretch.
And I don't even know that it was. I mean, just because we never see it, the only time we see them reveal themselves is at the end. But I mean, it could have been even Mastermind with the 2 like acting it out. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's neither here nor
It's
there.
semantics, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think, like I said, the guy that I talked to in the parking lot.
Oh yeah, shoot.
He really liked the ending because he said it felt very homage like
Mhm.
in honor of Scream 2 with
Oh,
it
yeah.
being Billy's mom. So he dug that reveal a little bit more than like,
You did.
yeah, someone that's just seen 1 and 2 and then 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, I as a general audience member, not in love with this series, but likes it well enough. And maybe the reason people like these movies so much, there's that kind of thing you see where it's the reason people rewatch TV shows like The Office or whatever or New Girl over and over again is because it's a form of comfort. You know what's coming next. There's not any surprises. It is a comforting feeling to watch those shows that you already know. I wonder if that's how people feel with Scream. Is they go in and they know they're going to get some meta humor. They know they're going to get the killer, you know, and there's going to be reveals kind of a murdery whodunit. I wonder if that's why people like these so much.
I mean, that's why I like them.
But as someone who,
and I also like trying to guess who it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's fun too.
And as someone that kind of stands apart from it, I guess, I think if Scream wants to keep its audiences hooked, it's time to change up the formula and take some risks and do something different. But anyway, that's just me.
That's also just like a franchise thing in general.
Yeah.
It's always, once you get to a certain point in franchise things,
they know what works and what's going to make the money.
And you've got, if you want it to stay strong, you've got to push the boundaries and try something different, or else you will lose the audience because it is just more of the same.
Yeah. Looking at you, MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a lot of
But
franchises.
you do risk a lot
Yes.
Yeah.
if you do something different.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Star Wars did have a piece of that, but they also just made a couple bad movies and then didn't back it up. Yeah, it was also just poor planning and poor execution.
Yeah.
And such, not just the fact that they took risks. Like Rian Johnson was a risk.
Yeah.
And paid off for some, and it didn't pay off for others.
Yeah.
However, they then went back to their formula, which is the real reason why Star Wars went to crap, because of Rise of Skywalker and a little bit of Solo. But
yeah, I
like Solo, so I can't say anything. Love me some Donald
people,
Glover.
People are coming around on Solo.
I've always liked it.
Yeah.
I do think it. No, I definitely saw it in theaters. I was about to say maybe it's the only movie I didn't see in theater, but I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah.
But no, I've always liked it.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm the huge Rogue One stan, though.
Oh, Rogue One's the best.
I will die on
it's
that.
Very
hill.
good. Yeah.
Okay. Ratings.
Are you guys ready? I don't know if you're ready for this. 2.5.
I saw it on the letterbox.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it did surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tristan.
4.
We're the 4 club. 4 core.
Core 4.
Core 4. Yeah, no, I have 4 as well. I thought it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's it for today's review. We will try to do some Oscar content, just talking about what we thought. Trevor will be able to give you the most information because he saw everything except for the documentaries.
Not everything, but yeah.
More
If you go to my
us.
Twitter,
Yeah.
I did a whole little thing.
Okay, yeah. But you saw a huge chunk.
I did see a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tristan and I were a little bit more reserved on the things we saw.
You guys saw all the anime, or at least you saw all the animated shorts.
That's true.
Yeah.
Trevor did show us all of those. But yeah, we will do that later. Thank you guys so much for listening. Next week we have no, not D&D. That's the week after.
Next week is
that's a big one.
John Wick 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew it was a big one.
Ooh.
So get ready to go watch some more killing, but in a different way. It's just Keanu Reeves going crazy.
And for right now, my phone is giving me a little update that says, which this has never happened before, but it says happening now. Stream the shocking Last of Us finale.
Yes,
So,
that is happening.
We
I
right
know
will be
what
doing
you guys
that.
are going to be doing tonight.
Mm-hmm. We're technically missing the premiere right now to talk to you guys.
Well,
about
what are
this
we doing
movie,
here?
So. Okay, so yeah, that's it. See you guys next week, and thank you guys for listening. Bye, guys.
Hey, moron!
You talking to me? You talking to me?
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Hello?
What an idiot!
Well, what do you expect? I'm the movie moron.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Don't call me stupid.
Oh, right! To call you stupid would be an insult to stupid people! I've known sheep that could outwit you.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like, your opinion, man.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense. No, none taken.